Hi everyone and welcome back to the video. In this video, we are going to talk about one of the most important aspect of blogging, which is hosting. Hosting is what allows your website to be accessible to visitors on the internet. It's like renting a space on a server where you can store your website files and data. But how do you choose the best hosting option, for your blog? Well, there are different types of hosting options available and each one has its own advantages and disadvantages. So let me explain them to you in simple terms and give you some examples on how I will use them if I start my own blog today. The first type of hosting is called shared hosting. This is the most basic and affordable type of hosting and it's a great option for beginners. Shared hosting means that your website will be hosted on the same server as many other websites. So there is one server and your website is hosted on a server, but not only your websites, but a couple of more websites are also hosted on the server. So you're basically sharing a common space, and that's why it's cheap, and it's great for beginners, right? The server is managed by the hosting companies, and they will give you a certain amount of storage space, bandwidth, and other resources to use. The good thing about shared hosting is that it's very cheap, and you don't have to worry about managing the server yourself. The company will do it for you. The bad thing is that your website will be sharing resources with other websites, which can affect your website's speed and performance. For example, if another website on the same server gets a lot of traffic or has a problem, it can slow down your website on or even make it unavailable. This can be frustrating for you and for your visitors. So you get something, you lose something. But again, it's a great option for beginners. So when should you use share hosting? Well, if you are just starting out with your blog and you don't have a lot of traffic or content yet, shared hosting can be a good option for you. It will help you save money and get your website online quickly. However, as your blog grows and you might want to consider upgrading to a better type of hosting. And that will take a sweet couple of months, right? Unless you are an exception and you grow your blog exponentially. The next type of hosting is called VPS hosting. So VPS stands for Virtual Private Server, and it's a more advanced type of hosting that gives you more control over your website's resources. So with VPS hosting, you will get a virtual server that is isolated from other users on the same physical server. That means that you will have your own resources such as RAM, CPU, and storage, which you will this means that you will have your own resources such as RAM, CPU, or storage, as I mentioned already, which you can use to run your website. VPS hosting is more expensive than shared hosting, obviously, because you are getting your own set of resources, but you are getting your own private server, but it will also provide better performance and more flexibility. The good thing about VPS hosting is that you can customize your server to suit your needs. You can install any software or application that you want, and you can adjust the amount of resources that you want. The bad thing is that you will have to manage your server yourself, which can be complicated if you are not familiar with it, and you will also have to pay more money for the extra resources that you can use. So when should you use VPS hosting? Well, if you have a medium-sized blog and gets a moderable amount of traffic, and you need more control over your blog website's performance and security, VPS hosting can be a good option for you. It will give you more flexibility and reliability than shared hosting. However, if you have a very large or popular blog that requires a lot of resources, or if you don't want to deal with the technical aspects of hosting, you may want to consider another type of hosting. The next type of hosting is called dedicated hosting. This is the most advanced and expensive type of hosting available. With dedicated hosting, you will get an entire server to yourself, which you can use to host your website. This gives you complete control over your resources, but it also comes with a high price tag. So in VPS hosting, you get a virtual private server, but you not get a complete server for yourself. But in dedicated hosting, you get a complete server for yourself. So that's a server that is located somewhere, but you have complete control over it. The good thing about dedicated hosting is that you can run your website without any limitation or interference from other users. You can customize your server however you want, and you can handle any amount of traffic or data that your website generates. The bad thing is that dedicated hosting is very costly and it requires a lot of technical skills to manage the server properly. So when should you use dedicated hosting? Well, if you have a very large or popular blog that gets a lot of traffic and revenue and you need the best performance and security possible, dedicated hosting can be the best option for you. It will give you the ultimate power and control over your website. However, if you don't have the budget or the skills to handle dedicated hosting, and if you are managing a dedicated hosting, then obviously you will have to hire someone to take care of the server for you. So if you don't have the budget or skills to handle dedicated hosting, or if your blog doesn't need that much resources, dedicated hosting may not be worth it for you. The next type of hosting is called cloud hosting. So cloud hosting is a newer type of hosting that has gained popularity in recent years. It is similar to VPS hosting, but it utilizes a network of servers to provide more scalability and flexibility. So this means that instead of having one virtual server on one physical location, you will have multiple virtual servers on multiple physical servers. Uh, or sorry, multiple physical servers. You will have multiple virtual servers on multiple physical servers. I hope that cleared any confusion that might have arisen. The good thing about cloud hosting is that it can easily adapt to your website's need. You can increase or decrease the resources available to your website as the traffic changes. You only pay for what you use, and you don't have to worry about running out of resources or having downtime. The bad thing is that cloud hosting is more expensive than shared hosting, and it can be harder to control or monitor your website's performance. So when should you use cloud hosting? Well, if you have a blog that has unpredictable or seasonable traffic, and you need a hosting option that can handle sudden spikes or drops in traffic, cloud hosting can be a good option for you. It will give you more scalability and flexibility than other types of hosting. However, if you have a stable or predictable amount of traffic, or if you need more control over your website's performance, cloud hosting may not be the best option for you. The last type of hosting that I want to talk about is called managed hosting. This is the type of hosting where the host company manages all the technical aspects of hosting for you, such as updates, security, backups, and more. This is good for those who don't want to handle all the technical aspects of hosting themselves and can focus on the content creation instead. The good thing about managed hosting is that it saves you time and hassle. You don't have to worry about maintaining or troubleshooting your server, and you can rely on the host company to take care of everything for you. The bad thing is that managed hosting is more expensive than other options, and it can limit your control or customization over your website. So when should you use managed hosting? Well, if you have a blog that requires a lot of maintenance and security, and you don't have the time or skills to handle it yourself, managed hosting can be a good option for you. It will give you peace of mind and convenience. However, if you want to have more control or flexibility over your website, or if you want to save money on hosting, managed hosting may not be the best fit for you. Personally, when I started my blog, I went for share hosting, and I will recommend the same to you because it is a cost effective option. And when you are starting, you don't know how much traffic you will get and how much time it will take for you to uh, you know increase your traffic to a point that shared hosting cannot manage it. So go with shared hosting in the initial days when you're just starting out. And but as my traffic grew, okay, let's come back to my example. When my traffic and content grew, I upgraded to cloud hosting to improve the performance and get more control over my website's resources. So it's important to keep in mind that as your blog grows, your hosting needs may change. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on your website's performance and consider upgrading if necessary. Okay, so the crux of this video is, and my personal recommendation to you would be, if you are starting, go with shared hosting. If your website has outgrown shared hosting, okay, it cannot be managed by shared hosting, then go with cloud hosting. And if you have outgrown cloud, so cloud hosting as well, which is very rare
because in cloud hosting you can change the resources that you have, and you can uh, get more resources, as much resources as you want to. But if it's a case that uh, your cloud hosting is getting so expensive that you are thinking of switching to VPS or dedicated hosting, then I don't know. I'm not that eligible to answer your question, because I have not used cloud hosting or VPS hosting myself. So uh, uh, get an expert for it. Try to contact someone on LinkedIn or any forums or anywhere else who has used VPS or dedicated hosting, and then consult them, and they will tell you which one to just select, and how to select one, and what are the best options available for you. But if you're just starting out, I'll tell you go with shared hosting. If you have outgrown shared hosting, I'll tell you to go with cloud hosting. Cloud hosting is a bit expensive than shared hosting. In shared hosting, you may not get all the resources and control over the resources, but you don't even need it when you are just starting out, right? You will be starting 10, 15 blocks, or let's say 20 blocks in your first month. And shared hosting can control it, can handle it very elegantly. So don't worry a lot in the beginning. Just go with shared hosting. And okay, so go with shared hosting is one thing, but in shared hosting, which company you go with, that's very important, and that's the second thing. And we will talk about that in future videos, because I went with shared hosting, but I went with a company which is very good with domain names, and I took their shared hosting, and that was not good, right? Did everything, but my website speed was not that great, and that was the fault of that hosting. So I'll talk more on this example in that video, relevant video. This video is not relevant with my this story. So in summary, when choosing a hosting option for your blog, it's important to consider your budget, the amount of traffic you expect your website to receive, and the level of control you need over your website's resources. Shared hosting is a great option for beginners on a tight budget, while VPS hosting provides better performance and more flexibility. Dedicated hosting is best suited for large, high traffic websites. So if you are one of those news websites, national news, anything like that, then you might want to have your dedicated hosting. And cloud hosting is good for scalability and flexibility. Managed hosting is a good option for those who don't want to handle all of the technical aspects of hosting. So this was all about this video. If you want to learn more about the okay, before summing up, I'll go a bit more on. Okay, let's leave it. So I was thinking I will go a bit more on selecting a server location, but I'll take it in a different video. So this was all about this for this video. If you want to learn more about the common mistakes that people make, which is related to this topic, if you want to get the notes of this video, and if you want to learn more on this topic, check out this book. This is the book which is the source material for all the videos that I make. It's a great book, and I have listed a lot of other examples and content in this book. So do check it out, and I'll see you in the next one.